has collapsed. 43 or actually 46,000 businesses have gone bankrupt. Tourism has stopped completely. They also have credit ratings was lowered. Israeli bonds are sold at a price of almost quote-unquote junk bonds level. The foreign investment that have already dropped by 60% in the first quarter of 2023 as a result of the policies of the Israelis far-right government before October 7 show no prospects of recovery. The majority of the money invested in Israeli investment funds was diverted to investments abroad. But what is even worse for Israel is that $25 billion worth of investment by Intel was scuttled due to BDS movement. All of this combined together, right now, Israel is also struggling with manpower, not only just in the military, but also in terms of helping economically. Doctors, construction workers, engineers, a lot of them are now forced to take part in the ongoing genocide of Gaza. Therefore, they do not have people doing any construction work. They do not have scientists working as they used to work, doctors. All of the industries have become a complete mess for Israel. This report that I just read to you is from July 24th. Now it is August, almost middle of August. And it has been set in motion that the economy of Israel is going to be collapsing, and this is no more a possibility or a hope. It is actually the reality. Now, what we will see obviously from Iran and Hezbollah is much worse for Israel. Once they launch attack, this is going to be the end of the Zionist regime, the terrorist regime of Israel. Right now, US is begging, they're begging Saudi Arabia, they're begging even Iran, including Iran, not to attack Israel. But there is no escape. I was watching a report from Breaking Points, and this is what I found out. Let's take a listen at what Crystal is saying here. You will understand better.
Alludes there to the fact that the most conservative, ultra-Orthodox members of Israeli society are increasingly represented in terms of governing ideology, but don't actually contribute too much to society. They tend to have large families, rely on government welfare, and receive a religious exemption from military service. The numbers supporting this dynamic were already getting kind of dicey because this group has much higher birth rates than more secular Israeli Jews. If you see a significant brain drain due to unending war and overt fascism, according to Shael, quote, the state of Israel will not exist in the long term. Bolstering this point, Mondo Weiss quoted an Israeli economist, Professor Dan Ben-David, as saying that the Israeli economy is held together by 300,000 people, the senior staff in universities, tech companies, and hospitals. Once a significant portion of those people leaves, he says, we won't become a third world country. We just won't be anymore. Has this exodus already begun? Difficult to say, and frankly, some of the data is really conflicting. But according to the Times of Israel, Israelis have already begun leaving the country prior to October 7th due to the Netanyahu government's extremism and attacks on the judiciary, which had led to a large protest movement for more secular elements of society. That outflow accelerated after October 7th, leading to about 42,000 permanent departures from November through March of 2024. And one can only imagine what an all-out war with Hezbollah and or Iran could do to those numbers in a country where a significant minority of the population hold multiple passports. By enabling the worst of Israeli atrocities and excesses, self-proclaimed Zionist Joe Biden may have unintentionally helped to galvanize a force that could actually destroy the Israeli state. We may be watching in real time as Israel collapses under the weight of its own internal divides, capital's aversion to risk, and the world's revulsion to apartheid and genocide.
Hey guys.
Absolutely. I mean, there is no doubt about that. What she said is actually happening as we speak. More and more Israelis, they're leaving the country, more left even before October 7th because they did not see any hope staying in Israel, doing any kind of activities in terms of opening a business, running a organization, because they did not want their fate to be tied with the state of Israel. Obviously, now we're looking forward to what will happen after Israel collapses. According to Israeli professor, he said, as Crystal mentioned, that we will not be a third world country. We will not be anymore. Means our existence is coming to an end. Let's take a listen a little bit more here.
Over 46,000 businesses have gone bankrupt. Tourism has stopped. Israel's credit rating was lowered. Israeli bonds are sold at the prices of almost junk bond levels. And the foreign investments that have already dropped by 60% in the first quarter of 2023 as a result of the policies of Israel's far-right government before October 7th show no prospects of recovery. The majority of the money invested in Israeli investment funds was diverted to investments abroad because Israelis do not want their own pension funds and insurance funds or their own savings to be tied to the fate of the state of Israel. Now, those business closures, they may actually just be the beginning. An estimate cited by the Times of Israel found that up to 60,000 businesses might close before 2024 is over. This is a greater impact than the COVID pandemic shutdown and would only be exacerbated by an expanded war with Hezbollah and with Iran, the impacts of which, frankly, would be unfathomable. Just think about the realities right now, though, for the Israeli economy. Israeli workers have been called up to participate in the Gaza annihilation, undercutting the country's much celebrated tech sector. Another key sector, tourism, has completely dried up. Construction is at a standstill because the Palestinians that Israel relies on as cheap labor force have been banned from coming to work outside of the occupied territories.
One more thing that we also have mentioned in the past videos, which is that, and this was being mentioned by Crystal in this video as well, which is that Turkey, they have now stopped exporting any product to Israel. And to make things even worse, we have seen recently Turkey, they have decided to intervene in some way, shape or form into the affairs of the people of Gaza. It could also mean that Turkey will now see an opportunity or look for an opportunity to send military boots on the ground to protect Gaza. Now, this is what I believe will happen in the future, which is that the Arab nations, these so-called leaders, will get together, including Erdogan, including Turkey, and they might put some boots on the ground to protect Gaza and West Bank from future violation, from future genocide taking place. We've also seen how the whole world, they condemn Ben-Gvir, the Israeli minister, storming Masjid al-Aqsa. This was a red line, and now we have reports saying that Saudi Arabia and some other countries, they are now calling this whole regime to stop permanently their aggression. And if they don't do this, they will take action. Well, we know what kind of action they will take, which is nothing. But again, it is highlighting the sentiment of these leaders that are being felt, and we have seen them in the newspaper through their mouthpieces, that these leaders, they're absolutely not happy with Israel, what they're doing. Of course, Erdogan is looking for an opportunity to destroy Israel. This was his first goal when this Gaza genocide started happening. He was very clear that the people who are fighting in Gaza, i.e. Hamas, they are mujahideen. They are not terrorists, rather they're fighting in the cause of God. Now this is going to be a very, very dangerous situation for all of us here, because once Turkey gets involved and Iran gets involved, then of course there will be US getting involved in this, along with Russia on the other side, fighting against the United States. What we are seeing, a complete collapse and destruction of Israel, and nobody can help them. This is a situation, this is a quagmire. They dug their own grave. Netanyahu, the greedy, the corrupt, the degenerate leader who wanted to get away with all his corruption cases, is now taking the entire country with him, and there is absolutely no way to escape from this. Guys, let me know your comments, your thoughts, what do you think is happening, and what will be the future of the Zionist, the terrorist state. And I'll see you in the next video. Have a wonderful day.